Welcome to MAPE's quick video summary of the tentative agreement reached on June 26. The first step is to vote on the contract. It's important to note that both the MAPE negotiations team and the MAPE Board of Directors have recommended that members accept the tentative agreement that you'll be voting on. Again, only members can vote. We welcome all fee payers to join MAPE so that they can vote. Fee payers can sign up to be a member until 5 p.m. on August 10th. The easiest way to do that is to go to www.mape.org and see the Join Us link found towards the middle of the front page of the website. We have an electronic version of the agreement which was sent out to all our members on July 8th. Electronic voting starts on August 17th and will continue through August 24th. Members who are interested can have a paper ballot mailed to them. We'll tally the votes on August 25th and announce the results on the MAPE webpage. If a tentative agreement is rejected by a majority of members voting, this authorizes a strike. Ultimately, the MAPE Board of Directors will call a strike, but the first step in authorizing is for MAPE members to reject the contract. If majority of MAPE members vote in favor of this contract, the next step is that it will go to the Legislative Coordinating Commission Subcommittee on Employee Relations. They have 30 days to meet and to act on the contract. If they fail to meet or act on the contract goes into effect on an interim basis. If they meet and approve the contract, or if there's a tie vote, the contract also goes into effect on an interim basis. If the Subcommittee on Employee Relations votes against the contract, a majority, then the contract does not go into effect. And essentially what happens is we go back to the bargaining table and try to reach a new tentative agreement. Assuming, though, that the Subcommittee on Employee Relations either approves or fails to act such that the contract goes into effect on an interim basis, then it will go to the full legislature in 2016. The legislature then must approve the contract for it to go into permanent effect. Let's talk about some of the major changes. The first area is health insurance. This was a tough issue during negotiations. The costs of providing insurance to our members is rising. In fact, in this round of negotiations, the plan experienced about an $88.7 million increase in costs. So this puts pressure on us and CGIP to make changes to help lower some of those costs. We've increased the first annual dollar deductible, the office visit copay, the prescription drug copay, and we've increased the plan maximum out-of-pocket expenses. When management, MMB, and the governor's team first brought their proposals to the negotiations table, they wanted to increase all of the out-of-pocket charges. We managed to steer these to these 4 areas. These are areas that most people pay, and our thinking was that it was better to have everyone pay a little more than a few people pay a lot more. One thing I want to be clear about is the CoPrine. That's the monthly amount that comes out of your paycheck each month. The percentages do not change. So all employees pay 5% of the single premium cost. Those employees who choose dependent coverage pay 15% in addition to their employee share. Those percentages remain the same. However, because premiums go up every year, the amount you pay per month will go up a small amount. We were successful in negotiating a significant improvement in dental coverages for in-network services. Wages will also go up under this tentative agreement, and we call them a general wage adjustment because they apply to all of the hourly wages listed in Appendix E of the collective bargaining agreement. The July 1, 2015 general wage increase will be retroactive after it's approved by the Subcommittee on Employee Relations. Also, during both years of the contract, step increases will apply for those who are eligible for them. The next slide is just a simple example of the impact of the wage adjustments on someone making $30 an hour. I wanted to mention some other key language changes. There's a variety of things that were changed. I'm just hitting a few highlights. For a complete listing of all the changes, look at the voter booklet emailed to everyone in early July and is currently posted on the MAPE webpage. One of the things that we've added to the contract is a reference to the respectful workplace policy. That's the policy that addresses bullying and other behavioral standards. We think it's important to have it referenced in the contract. It makes the application of the policy grievable, and it also raises the status of that issue within our contract. Safety leave is reflected in a change to Minnesota state law, and it was part of the Women's Economic Security Act. So that's an important benefit. The other big improvement on sick leave is that now there's no limit on the use of sick leave to accompany a parent to a medical or dental appointment. Right now, the contract requires that postings are done basically on bulletin boards. Now they will be electronic postings. That isn't necessarily something that we wanted. This was part of an overall package and compromise. We exchanged things for this, like reference to the respectful workplace policy in the contract and other issues. So it's part of the give and take of negotiations. But one of the challenges our greater Minnesota stewards have had is having enough time to go to grievance meetings and investigations and that sort of thing. The contract now limits it to an hour of paid travel time. We've added another half hour, so it's now an hour and a half. Paid parental leave was a very important issue for us in this contract. We had many members and locals participate in actions calling attention to this issue. Unfortunately, we were not able to get an agreement at the bargaining table. What we did get was a personal commitment from Governor Dayton. They would create a task force. There's a sample of the letter that we received from Jamie Tincher, who's the governor's chief of staff. And what this promise is that they will create a task force to look at the issue of paid parental leave. They will involve MAPE, and they will invite other unions to participate in this process as well. And if they find, as we have found, that this is important to our members and important to employees generally in state service, they will find a way, essentially, to institute paid leave, not just for MAPE members, but for all state employees. There were a number of supplemental agreements that were modified or created at Lottery, Minskew, DNR, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, and Minute has a new supplemental agreement. These are included in the voter book, and you might reach out to representatives of your meet and confer committees who negotiated those changes. You'll find the supplemental agreements in the back of the contract. You can find more information, again, at www.mape.org. There's also a full list of all the contract information meetings. These are done at each local association. And as always, if you have questions, you can email MAPE at action@mape.org. That's action@mape.org. Again, you have until August 10th at 5 p.m. to become a member and still vote on the contract. Thank you.